Hey everybody, it is me, Super Paul Games. Welcome back to Seduce Me, please. I'm desperate, the Otome. I added the desperate part. It's not true, mostly true. So the boys here, Damien was going to put a vision in my mind to kind of explain the backstory between them and that succubus Diana who's trying to get them from me. Vision?
Please, just trust him.
Anything for you, James. I looked to James, unsure of what was going on, but I nodded. If this was the only way to learn, then this was my chance to know. Damien gently placed his hands on each side of my head, gently caressing his thumbs into the skin above my eyebrows, gently gouging. Ow! I could only stare at Damien as his eyes began to glow gold and energy began to be pulled out of me and forced into my head. Within seconds, my vision went black. I was unsure of what Damien was doing, but soon shapes and textures slowly began to appear around me. I found myself sitting on a stone floor in the middle of what looked like a fantasy throne room. Maybe I'm in a Final Fantasy game. Like, where am I? It'd be cool if we were in the Long Live the Queen game. I think that's what it was called. I looked down at myself to stand only to see my body as translucent as a ghost. Ooh, I'm a ghost. Like, whoa. I jumped up and inspected my hands in a sudden panic. I was see-through. Hopefully my clothes aren't. Why? What was going on?
How dare they try to negotiate with me? Do they not know whom they speak to?
Is that Malix or someone else? I gasped and ran behind a nearby pillar away from the voice. The sound of his anger and words frightened every bone in my body, turning me into a frightened child.
My lord, please calm yourself.
I like that voice. My lord. I wish I could do that voice.
Calm? They're merely testing my resolve. I have more than half of a mind to send my greatest armies to take what should be mine. They are mere insects in the way of my kingdom's expansion.
So you have more than half of a mind? I wouldn't brag about that unless you had, like, more than a whole mind.
They merely asked for a marriage joining.
So I'm to bow to them and share my land that I have so rightfully conquered?
Dude, can't you guys afford any shirts in your kingdom? I peeked from behind the pillar to see a large demon covered in royal clothes, but buff enough to be a military commander. I don't know, most military commanders I've seen in real life aren't really buff. His rage practically emanated from his body as he growled at his servant.
They are willing to give their land to you, sire. All they ask is for one of your sons to marry their daughter, whom I might add is as beautiful as can be.
Wait, is that the dad of our boys? Is that James' dad?
This is ridiculous. To suggest that I need their approval to take their land is beyond insanity. What makes them think I care about their precious daughter?
I like the demon lord here. He's like, I don't need their permission to steal their shit.
Did I mention that she is a prodigy of her kind, sire?
A prodigy?
Yes, my lord. This succubus is a master of her skills in magic and mind manipulation. She is said to sway armies with a snap of her fingers, despite being as young as she is.
Impossible!
If only it were, sire. This succubus is dangerous, but would be a great asset to have should we agree to this arrangement. The only reason she cannot faze you, my lord, is because you are the strongest demon in the plains.
Is this supposed to change my mind?
Yes, my lord.
You are doing a terrible job at convincing me.
My apologies, sire.
I was lost. I could tell they were talking about Diana, but why? Come on, that's gotta be James and his brother's dad.
Father.
I quickly turned my head to see another demon who looked like a mere child, staring at the demon commander on the throne. Father?
Raystrout, have you finished your training?
That's James!
Yes, Father.
Then what do you want?
I want to be with my brothers the best of the day, Father.
The demon commander walked to the young demon and gripped his hair, picking him up off the ground and forcing him to look up at his snarl. The young demon, however, looked unfazed. No wonder why James is so got his shit together and his other brothers don't, because James had to put up with a bunch of crap and survive that the others maybe didn't have to deal with as much.
Arrogance. Why should I allow you to be with them? I should kill you for your lack of respect to me.
Because I want to be with them, Father.
I could only stare as the young demon faced his father. Despite the massive difference between them, this young demon seemed weaker and easy to kill versus the demon commander. Of course, he's an adult and the other one's a kid. Why would this man kill his son, though? Was this commander that ruthless? And now I understand maybe why the boys, even though they're royalty or whatever, don't want to go back because their dad's a dickhole. However, I wasn't expecting him to laugh and release the young demon.
Good! Assertive even in the face of danger. That is why you are my favorite son.
That must be awkward around Demon Thanksgiving. Hi, Daddy. Shut up, you're not my favorite son. Ray Stro is. I bet that's why Sam's so mad. He was probably the least favorite. I could only stare wide-eyed as the commander placed his hand on the demon's shoulder.
Very well. Go. Tomorrow, you will show me your training.
The little demon grinned widely before running off.
I have a thought.
That's the first time, my lord.
Yes, my lord.
How old is this daughter?
Ew.
As old as your 5th, sire.
Do you believe this proposal is worth it?
Yes, sire.
Tell those insects that they are safe for now. I will consider their offer.
Sire, are you certain?
Does Succubus use her, control on you, dude?
Did I stutter? Now go!
The demon servant quickly ran off, but as soon as he passed the pillar I was hiding behind, he, along with the commander, vanished into thin air. What the? What had happened? I didn't get the time to try to figure out that before a demon who looked around my age walked into the room reading a book. Is that?
Raestrow, your nose is stuck in those books. Will you not lift your head up from them once in a while?
Huh, that voice sounds like familiar shit. I circled around the pillar to see a second demon leaning against another pillar and smirking at Raestro.
Aren't you supposed to be with your mother practicing the harpsichord?
I am, but I had a feeling that you were in danger.
In danger? What are you...
Attack!
All of a sudden, 3 shadows zipped through the room and slammed into Raestro, forcing him to the ground and to drop his book. As the sight cleared for me, there were 3 other demons in a dog pile with Raestro at the bottom. It's a brother attack.
Get up!
No way! You haven't had a break in months from those stupid books. It's time for punishment!
Death by brotherhood! No more reading!
I told you that you were in danger.
I suddenly knew who those demons were. Oh, and they said, get off, don't mind if I do. It's the boys, oh! Even in the demon world, the brotherly connection was astounding, astounding. They were merely younger versions of themselves. One of the demons, who I assumed was Matthew, grabbed the book from the floor and opened it, reading it mockingly.
How can you read this, Raestro? It's all about war strategy. It's boring.
Matthew, you were gonna be fucked if you inherited the throne, because, James is preparing to learn shit, and Matthew's like, I like cookies.
I have to, Zakaru. Get off! There's only one thing you need to know about strategy. Kill them all. Take no prisoners.
That's so Sam.
You sound just like father.
I couldn't help but giggle. Hee! It was cute to see them acting childish with each other. Eventually, James managed to push his brothers off of him and stand brushing himself off.
You all are reckless. At least we have fun.
It's true. You haven't been with us in weeks. Don't you think it's time for a break?
I'm sure Father won't mind.
But I have to...
I know you want to, Raestro.
Damn it.
What is going on here?
Uh-oh, Daddy found out. I shot my head to the voice to see the commander, aged a little, staring at the boys with his arms across his chest. Damien quickly dashed and hid behind Sam, peeking over his shoulder to see the large commander.
Nothing is going on. We just passed by each other.
Then why does your brother have your book?
I was showing him what I was learning, Father.
Return to your studies, Raestrow. The rest of you out of my sight. Do not disturb your brother again.
I could only stare at as James gently took his book and, without looking at his brothers, returned to reading. Poor James. James is getting, all the shit about how he's gotta do the hard work, and his brothers get to hang out and be kids and have fun. The commander walked past the remaining brothers, growling at Sam and Damien before leaving the room. What was up with that?
Don't worry about it. We'll find a way to get him back.
I don't know. He's on a very tight leash.
Matthew, your balls are yet to drop, aren't they?
Ezra, you're quiet. What did you hear?
He's going to a negotiation meeting. He's going to arrange a marriage.
That would suck to have a kid who could read your mind. Or worse, a parent.
A marriage? For who? It must be for one of us.
He hasn't decided who will marry her. It's a girl from a kingdom he wants to take over.
But that's uncharacteristic of him. Usually he'd just attack with the army.
Whatever the case is, one of us is getting married.
I hope it isn't me.
What about Ray Straub? He's the eldest.
It would make sense, but having a succubus marrying one of us means that she'll be practically married to all of us.
Ew, Eric, that's nasty.
Well, what should we do?
Before the conversation could continue, the boys vanished into thin air, fading into different colored mists. They were replaced by an older Damien and Matthew sitting with each other in the middle of the throne room.
Do you think we should?
Oh my god, so hot, demon boys! Except for you look like a spider, that's nasty.
I really want to.
I want to as well. Still, it'll be hard to convince Raistero, since he's the one about to be married, and he's the favorite.
We don't know that, Zakeru. Maybe she's set to marry you.
No way! I don't want to get married.
I don't know if Matthew likes girls.
I don't think you'll have a problem with that baby face of yours.
And then at that moment, Matthew pulled up the face of a literal baby. Where'd you get that? Don't ask. I looked over to see Sam join the duo, crossing his arms and raising an eyebrow at the others. Or his brothers, even.
What are you two talking about?
We got into contact with the human world again.
Come on, Ezra. You give humans too much attention.
Does that mean they don't have penises? I mean, I don't really need to know, but I would think Fatty Vag would care a hell of a lot about that.
No way, you gotta listen. They apparently have stores and books and schools and stuff.
So what? It's full of humans who piss on each other for no reason. They're no better than the devil spawn.
Nuh-uh, the one we were talking to wasn't like that.
How do you know, Zakeru?
Because I do!
What is going on here?
They want to go to the human world.
The human world?
Raistero, think about it. You won't have to marry that girl and be the heir anymore. You could be with us, and we could make lives for ourselves in the new world.
Now you're just talking nonsense.
I vote that we do it.
Huh? Oh, not you two.
Think about it. This may be our chance to finally get away from this political nonsense we're stuck in. We may be nobles, but we're still our own beings.
Ristrao is in.
What? Ezra!
Woo! So how do we get there?
Are you kidding me? You don't even know how we'd get there.
A simple spell should work, but it would require someone from the human world to help us get there.
We can ask him.
Oh, he'd definitely help us.
I'm not so sure about...
By him, they mean our grandfather. And I feel a little weird that our grandfather was, I don't know, internet demon portal chatting with young boys.
Reistra, aren't you tired of pleasing father all of the time?
Nasty.
I am, but...
If you stay, you'll be married off and become ruler of father's kingdom. You'll have no time for yourself or with us, and you'll be constantly at war with the other realms for power. You'll most likely turn into the spitting image of father.
What he's saying is, get your head out of your ass and let's go. If you don't say yes, I'll drag your princely ass with us. I don't care what that bastard of a father wants.
I think it would hurt to get someone with horns stuck up your ass.
Come on, Raistero.
All right, let's do this. What's the plan?
I couldn't believe what was happening. I was seeing the history of their lives before my eyes. They were nobles, and James was the heir to the kingdom the commander ruled. Even so, more so, he was going to be married to Diana. Not my James! They sacrificed everything to leave and be together. They'd rather be free than remain in their noble roles. I started to feel a little jealous. They were able to leave while I was still expected to be what my father wanted me to be. How they were able to leave was uncertain still, but I knew I would learn in time. It's obvious. Grandfather helped them come to our world. I closed my eyes and mentally asked Damien to end the vision. As soon as I asked, the world around me slowly vanished, and I was brought back to the bedroom where I sat with my head nestled in Damien's hands. My vision began to clear, letting me fully see the boys around me, all with concerned faces.
So, you now know exactly who we are.
Diana, is that the girl you arranged to marry? 'Cause I'm not jelly, but you better not marry her.
Not anymore. Once we left, the arrangement was broken. With no sons to marry off, our dad couldn't go through with the marriage deal.
Your dad could marry the girl, couldn't he? Or do you got a mom?
If Diana is here for us, that means she's trying to save her kingdom from being attacked.
That's not true. She wants to rule our kingdom. Having one of us will give her the right to our kingdom, as much as we'd have right over hers.
So she's a gold digger!
Well, with a kingdom like ours, what succubus wouldn't want to marry us for it?
It all made sense. It's a shame they didn't put the character models for that little dialogue here. She wanted them so that she could finally take over an opposing kingdom. She knew that despite her power, she wouldn't be able to fight against their father, so she had to find another way in. So she's using her vag to be a gold digger. Is that, like, manipulative? Before I could continue, I felt my head suddenly get heavy and dizzy. I gripped my head and mewling under my breath. How do you mewl? What the?
I took too much. I'm so sorry.
Rest now. There's no need to do anything more today.
The boy suddenly rushed over and helped me lay back down as my vision was painted in white polka dots. I needed sleep badly. Instantly, I closed my eyes and let the darkness consume me. After what seemed like hours, I finally woke up slightly refreshed. My body knew that if I slept any longer, I'd be up all night. Can't have that. I got the week off. I can stay up all night. Demon Succubus Diana, the substitute teacher, somehow fucked everyone at school, so I don't have to go. But being up all night was not part of my plan for the day. I rubbed my eyes and sat up, letting a soft groan escape my lips. In response, something beside my bed shuffled, causing me to look over. I didn't know what I was expecting. Oh my god, James, you didn't date violate me, did you? He's like, that's a very PC term. Beside me, sitting in a chair beside the bed, what a gentleman. Sitting in a chair beside the bed was James. He's looking over me, rousing himself up to see me awake. I smiled at him, seeing his slightly ruffled hair and tired eyes.
Oh, you're awake. Good. Oh, how do you feel?
I mostly feel with my fingers, thanks. I feel better. I feel like better and stuff. I had a dream about a waffle and a donut. I called it waffle nut. Ha! James nodded before he gently reached over and ran his hand through my hair. Oh my god, that's great. Examining my face with soft sadness.
I'm sorry this is all happening to you. I really wish there was something I could do to fix all of this.
Maybe if you took off your pants it'd help, huh? Still kidding, probably not. Bonus. James, it's not like your fault.
No, if we never came, then you'd never be targeted by either Malix or Diana.
I think we handled Malix pretty well, so I'm not so worried about that. I quickly reached over and put my finger on his lips, stopping him from going any further. I didn't want to hear any more. James, it's like okay. I wanted to help out. I offered to let you all stay. Nothing is like your fault. I gently moved my hand and cupped James' cheek, staring at him with concern. I didn't want him to hold guilt in his mind about this whole ordeal. Diana was desperate, and she'd hunt anyone for them. It wasn't his fault she was desperate enough to hunt them down. However, I was curious. Is she gonna be like you like her better? So, like, James, you're like maybe a demon prince, right? James then twirled a strand of my hair around his finger, staring at it.
Yes, I am. I was.
What?
I was a demon prince when I lived in the Abyssal Plains. I didn't enjoy a single minute of being the heir. The only moments I truly enjoyed were when I was with my brothers. Thus, I left with them to come here.
What was it like when you were, like, there?
Well, other than consistent studying and training to be a resilient leader and all-around ruthless lord, it was bland. I never truly knew what freedom was until I was excused from my sessions.
James looked at me with a thoughtful look on his face. I stared back, wondering what was going on through his mind. Then he smiled before taking off his glasses and placing them on me. I was surprised, but instead of seeing him, I saw dark, gold, and purple magic swirl in front of my eyes through the glasses. The vision cleared and I was suddenly taken back to the demon castle. I looked around, feeling stuck in place, but my eyes instantly landed on a demon version of James. He was sitting on the throne of the main hall, reading over a book with an intense expression. He was kind of cute to see, but he read in silence.
You'll wear out your eyes if you read too much.
Is that your other girlfriend? Is that your old girlfriend, James? James looked up from his book to see a figure materialize in front of him. It was an older woman with a black cloak and aged horns. I could see she had power, though, and it gave me shivers to look at her.
Sirona, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at the Lord gathering with my father?
I should, yes. But I had to stop by and see the Demon Lord's favorite son before I head in.
I am honored. However, I must apologize and return to my reading.
Of course, of course. Wouldn't want to make the Demon Lord angry now, would you?
I could see James' eye twitch a bit at her comment. However, James simply bowed his head and went back to his book in silence. Sirona shook her head and let out a chuckle.
What will you do when you become the Demon Lord? It's such a big responsibility.
James looked up once again, confused at the question. Sirona simply smiled and began to walk away.
Think about that.
James and I watched her walk away, both of us with the same surprised and confused expression. I looked back to James to see him press his lips together and stare at the floor. Anyone could tell that he was lost, unsure of how to even answer that to himself. It was strange to see him in a form of weakness, jostled at a simple question that was more than it appeared. James closed his eyes and closed the book on his lap. It was then that I noticed the tired circles under his eyes. He had been working himself to the bone with his training and reading. When was the last time he slept? I could feel James in the real world gently slide the glasses from my face and place them back on his. It took me a second to recenter my vision, but then I looked at James, who smiled at me.
It was then that I decided to find my brothers. Little did I know that they were wanting me to come on a trip that would make me leave my entire realm to be in a new world.
I stared at him surprised before bringing my hand gently back onto his cheek and running a thumb softly under his eye. Better than in his eye. He looked healthier and a lot less tired than when I saw him in the vision. Something about that made me happy. Aw, they're sharing a moment! And he helped her see the demon world. If they had kids, would they, like, for Demon Thanksgiving, go visit the parents? That'd be weird. My grandparents are demons, literally. Mine aren't. Mine are lovely people. Well, everybody, I want to thank you all for watching. The story certainly has been interesting in the twists and turns and what comes next. I said comes. Dirty talk. I hope to see you all in the next episode. Thank you so much for hanging out. Oh, James.